Welcome to the Dave Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios, it's the Dave Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. Chris Hogan, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author, is my co-host today as we answer your questions about your life and your money. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Chris, before we jump to the phones, I want to just take a minute and say thank you to our good friends, Pastor Craig and Amy Groeschel at Life Church and the whole team at Life Church in Oklahoma City. We were there yesterday all day doing pre-taping some things, and then last night did our reset event from Oklahoma City last night. Craig spoke, and you and Rachel and I, and about 240,000 people were registered to watch it. It was the #2 thing on YouTube in the world. The only thing ahead of us on YouTube last night was the impeachment hearings. And so you've got like one negative thing going on and one positive thing.
One positive, that's exactly right.
Where they're helping people. And all of the speakers were on their A game. The delivery was incredible. Craig's talk was off the chain. And the team behind the scenes, our team and the technical team and the guys at Life Church, to be able to pull something like that off for 200,000 plus streams going through Facebook, YouTube, anything else out there, it was incredible.
It really was. And you know, it's in this time right now that we have going on, people need hope. They need a plan that actually works. And I was just excited to be a part of it. And like you said, that church and the whole entire team there is absolutely they have the heart to serve. And so it was just a great opportunity to be there with them and to help people.
Well, they're not only one of the largest churches in America, but if not the largest church in America, but their technical skill is world class. I mean, these are the folks that put out the YouVersion Bible app that has 500 million people around the world using it, with a B. And, that's pretty crazy. And on top of all of that talent and size and scale, there is not an icky person in the building.
No.
Now, I've known Pastor Craig, for 20 plus years, since he was doing the thing out of his garage. And it has just grown leaps and bounds, and he has personally grown through that time. And just incredibly humble, loving, serving people.
Yeah, that's the word that I kept thinking as he was hanging out, just talking to us, just his heart. His heart is to serve people. And
the whole team's that way.
The whole team, everyone. Now, not to mention, they've got like a command central. I walked by that thing, and I was like, this looks like a major
NASA.
News station. Yeah, I was like, let me go in there and turn some knobs, and I didn't, because I don't know what I'm doing.
Fox Business wishes they had a setup like that.
Yeah,
I'm just saying,
impressive.
It's incredible.
So this event was obviously a blast. I was there. I had a chance to be a part of it. Can people watch this, Dave, after the fact?
Yeah. We were running it live, of course, last night, and I think the guys are posting it today where you can go back, reset 2021.
Yeah.
And it's time to get a reset. It's time to get a fresh start. It's time after 2020 to put that in your rearview mirror. And that was our messages, and showing you how to do that from each of our perspectives.
Yep.
And from the actual thing, the actual delivery of the content, but the tactical things to go take away and do. And of course, we're running a special on Ramsey Plus, a bundle associated with it that was incredible. And thousands and thousands and thousands of people bought that last night.
Yeah.
And
I want to tell you, I'm gonna put out a tease here, and trust me, it will not let you down. Dave's take on the Three Little Pigs. That's all I'm going to tell you. But I want you to go watch this and listen to it, because it is absolutely hilarious, but it's on point. Dave's take on the Three Little Pigs, Reset 2020. You need to go watch it. And then I want you to tweet me or post on my Instagram and tell me what you thought, because I loved that story. I really did.
Our modified version.
You need to watch it, though. It is, and it's so applicable right now in this.
We're going to end up with more children's books around here than anything else.
Yes,
I mean, with the tortoise and the hare. Three Little Pigs.
Pigs.
You know, we just bring out all the old time hits from the fairy tales or whatever. But seriously, guys, thank you guys, all of you that turned out, hundreds of thousands of you watching that last night. It'll be by the end of the week, it'll be well over 1 million folks have viewed that.
Wow.
And it's just it was an incredible thing to be part of and to be able to put out there at a time when folks need something to focus on that is not crap out of Washington or not crap out of public shaming for this or that.
Yeah.
And of course, there's always, one or two negative ninnies out there, but that's just part of it. I mean, if you do anything of scale, you can expect the morons to show up. That's part of who shows up. So.
Oh, yeah. If you get out of bed and leave your house, you're going to have somebody griping.
Didn't like that.
Oh, yeah. They didn't like the way you walked out your front door because you slammed your door, Dave Ramsey.
One way to avoid criticism: say nothing, do nothing, and be nothing. These are not options for us at Ramsey.
No.
So we'll bring, the criticism is part of it's table stakes. It's part of the permission. It's part of the sign up fee to be me, and I signed up.
Yep.
So bring it. Bring it. In the meantime, hundreds of thousands, now well over 1 million people are getting help for free.
Yeah.
And somebody figure out a way to bitch about that, okay? So really unbelievable. But so it was an incredible, incredible thing. And I have gotten to do a lot of major events and arenas and other things that we have put on, or I have spoken at large things, 10, 20,000 people in live in an audience, that kind of a thing over the years. And those are, it's an experience to do that kind of a thing. But this was a fairly small audience. It's not a huge auditorium, number one. Number two, with socially distancing and the other things, we abided by the local government's guidelines and everything. But the size of this online audience for this thing was earth-changing.
Yeah.
It was pretty amazing. So thank you guys, all of you that tuned in. We appreciate it. If you haven't tuned in, like I said, we're going to post it, and you'll be able to jump on DaveRamsey.com, figure out a way to watch it somewhere. I don't even know how that works right now. DaveRamsey.com/reset.
There it
They're
is.
telling me that out of the booth.
Yes.
And Hogan's shopping story. Just to hear Hogan talk about him grocery shopping and the visual of that goes into your head that will never leave. It's worth watching just for that.
Well, yes.
But the content was awesome, and again, you'll leave. It'll be worth the hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes it takes you to watch, and it'll be worth your time. And again, doesn't cost you a thing. So DaveRamsey.com/reset, and we want you guys to reset. We want you to win. We want you to make choices where you're not vulnerable to everything that is going on out there. There's sections of this nation, portions of the spaces out there that have completely lost their freaking minds, and the only way you can insulate yourself from the wackiness is to follow God's principles of handling money. And when you do, you put yourself in a position to be insulated.
That's right.
And that's what we're teaching you to do. So good times and bad times, these same principles will cause you to prosper. This is the Dave Ramsey Show. What makes our show unique is that we genuinely care about our listeners. We're intentional about choosing the best advertisers to recommend. Blinds.com is no exception. They offer high-quality window treatments at unbelievable prices. And they make it simple to shop blinds, shades, and interior shutters with easy online ordering, free shipping, and a guaranteed perfect fit. Go to Blinds.com and take advantage of this week's special savings. Travis Hogan, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. David is in Washington, D.C. Hi, David. Welcome to the Dave Ramsey Show.
Hi, gentlemen. Thank you very much for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
I have a question. My wife and I have a 529 plan for our son in the state of Virginia, and he's got 1.5 years left until leaving for college. We think it's pretty much fully funded, so we're only putting small amounts into it now. But we're concerned that maybe our distributions are a little too aggressive now. So we've got like 78% in stocks, 18% in bonds, 4% in cash. And we wanted to just kind of know, should we back off of that a little, either now or next year or as we head into college?
How much is in there?
We have in there right now $165,000.
Okay. Well done. Congratulations. That's fabulous.
Yeah, that is great.
Okay.
Very fortunate.
All right. And when you say stocks, bonds, and cash, you're talking about it's a mutual fund selection. You're not in individual stocks or bonds.
That's correct. We have mutual funds through American Funds.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, here's the thing. Bonds have an inverse relationship, as you probably know, David, to the interest rate market. So as interest rates go down, bonds prices go up. Interest rates have been unbelievably low for an unbelievably long period of time. There's not a lot of places they're going to go but up in terms of major moves in interest rates in the next 5 years, okay, while your kid's in school. And so while bonds are typically pitched, if you read the standard financial planning writing, people pitch bonds as a stabilizer in a portfolio. In an extended low interest rate environment, my personal conviction is that they are a destabilizer, because I think as interest rates tick up, those bond prices are going to go down. You're going to lose your butt on that part of the portfolio. And so while it's supposed to be more safe than the stocks, I don't think it is in this current world, personally. So you can do what you want to do, but you called us, so that's an opinion. It's probably worth what you paid for it. Consequently, I don't own any bonds right now. Matter of fact, I've never really used bonds much in my investing at all, unless they're in a balanced fund or something like that. But so then the question just becomes, do you want to be in cash or do you want to be in growth stock type mutual funds for the next 4.5 years? Because a piece of that money is not going to come out for 4 years, right?
That's right.
Correct.
So I'm probably going to stay, depending on how worried you are about the stock market, the less worried you are, I'm going to stay heavy in the growth stock mutual funds and a little bit of cash. And the more worried you are, the more I would be about cash. But I don't think it's unsophisticated. As a matter of fact, it's just a different way of thinking. It's a different critical thinking set to avoid bonds, number one, and to number two, to say the risk represented by the market is not so substantial on stocks that it's going to drive me crazy.
Well, and the mindset, Dave, I think this past year, I keep going backwards here. The past year has shown us, as we looked at what happened to the stock market in March and then how it rebounded and came back in October.
Yeah.
For us to make sure that we remember it's the long-range view, right? And I think that I'm going to keep beating that drum of riding the roller coaster, long-range view. Look at what's going on. Don't listen to what people are saying. Watch what's happening.
Yeah. I mean, on the short term, the only thing that disturbs me for the stock market's sake more than anything else is just the level of political unrest.
Oh, I agree.
That's the short term. I mean, if you believe that the political unrest is going to lead to the nation unraveling, then you'd get out of the stock market completely. I don't believe that. Right. But the stock market does not like an unpredictable world. It likes a predictable world, even if it's a liberal world or a conservative world,
right?
A Democrat or a Republican. It just let me know what it is, and I can predict it, And when things aren't predictable, so if a war springs up across the world, a geopolitical, it doesn't like that. This crap going on in Washington on both sides of the aisle is astronomically crazy. When the cities were burning last summer, without getting into reasons or whether agreement or anything like that, the stock market doesn't like it.
Right. Well, it's a living, breathing thing, as you've told people for years. And because it's living and breathing, it's got feelings. And so the stock market has feelings. And so imagine if too much unrest or too much this or that happens, there is going to be a reflection at some point.
Yeah, it's when people are worried, it shows up.
Right.
That's really what it comes down to, because it depends on what they're worried about. So anyway, all that to say, David, I personally, if it was my kid, I would be heavy in stocks. I'd be light to none in bonds. And to the extent you're worried, I would crank up my percentage in cash. To the extent you're worried about the next 2 years of volatility. But if the thing goes down 10%, that'd be one of the biggest drops in 12 months in the history of the stock market if it went down 10%. And that would be $16,000. Doesn't keep your kid from going to school.
No.
So you're not really playing with huge risk. You're not going to have a situation where you lose 50% of your money. That has occurred only 2 times in the entire history of the stock market, and I do not see that item on the horizon. It could be there, but I don't see it.
Well, and let's talk real quick here about, obviously, with student education and going to college. You've got $165,000 that you put away. You know, as you start to look in-state at $10,000 a year, you've covered. Out-of-state tuition is $22,000 a year, and private tuition is around $36,000. So, you know, you look at the dollar amount that you all have set aside, David. You all have done a fantastic job of being prepared. Now, finish the job, I guess is what I'd say. Help your young person make a smart decision, and don't pick a school based on a sports team, and don't pick something based on a mascot. Let's pick something that is fiscally responsible that you can pay cash for.
There you go. Danielle is with us in Indianapolis. Hi, Danielle. How are you?
Hi, Mr. Ramsey and Mr. Hogan. How are you guys?
Great. How can we help?
Good. So my fiance and I have been listening to your show for a month or two now, and we'd like your advice on a student loan repayment decision. So we're getting married this May after I graduate from college, and
congratulations.
I'll be graduating debt-free.
Way to go.
So I'll be graduating debt-free as I've already paid off around $8,000 in federal student loans from fellowship funds that I've been awarded during the past 2 years, and my fiance will graduate college later in December of this year and has around $9,000 of federal unsubsidized student loan debt and about $10,000 of private debt owed to his parents. I would like to pay off his federal student loan debt now so that it wouldn't accrue any more interest before he graduates, and to just get it off of our shoulders as we prepare for marriage. But he wants to wait until after he graduates in December to pay the loan. So what do you guys think that we should do?
Danielle, Dave is twitching over here. I felt it. I've been around him for 15 years. I love that you have been intentional and that you're going to graduate debt-free. This is just impressive. Did you pay for it, or did your parents pay for it?
I paid for it. I've received a fellowship stipend of $5,000 for the past 2 years, so that has helped me to pay for it.
Well, I'm proud of you. And I would say this, and Dave's going to dive all over this. Love that you've joined and you're listening to this. Love that you guys at a young age are talking about this. But I'm going to tell you something. You know, first and foremost, I wouldn't be doing anything for his debt until you guys are actually married. Until he says, I do, and you do, and we do, then you can start to have a plan together. But prior to that, you need to stay focused on what it is you're doing. He needs to come up with a plan to try to attack that before you get married.
Yeah, after marriage, we can do a lot of stuff.
Okay, so, say that we wait until we get married in May.
Yeah, well, you do that either way. But you said in May, then do you pay it off or do you wait till December? It doesn't matter. If you've got the money, that's fine after marriage to knock it out. The primary concern I've got is that he finishes with no additional debt. It'd be a shame to pay it off and then not have the cash for him to finish that last semester in the fall.
Yep.
So if you've got that set up and you guys want to go ahead and start attacking it, there's not a wrong answer. Both of these are smart choices. It's A, smart, or B, smart. So, but all of it comes after May. This is the Dave Ramsey Show.
healthcare has gotten to be ridiculous. It puts people, on the brink. And so it would have put us on the brink had we not had CHM. CHM saved our life, saved our financial lives.
Christian Healthcare Ministries, or CHM, is not health insurance, but it is a budget-friendly option and the original health cost-sharing ministry for Christians. Learn more today and check us out at chministries.org. That's chministries.org.
Chris Hogan, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. If there's one thing we learned from last year about investing, you cannot invest alone. You absolutely need someone in your life who knows the market better than you and helps you make smart decisions, teaches you as you're responding to all this crazy out there. Listen, I love DIY, do it yourself, but I don't pull my own teeth. I don't even work on my own cars anymore. Do-it-yourself investors do the same thing. You pull your own teeth. You'll make a mistake. You lack the experience to make good investing decisions. You invest in the wrong things. You get caught up in trends. You read some stupid article on the internet, and there is a lot of stupid articles on the internet. You make rookie mistakes. And then a year like 2020 comes along, and all your mistakes are revealed. As Warren Buffett says, you can tell who was skinny dipping when the tide goes out. You see the mistakes. It's a bad idea.
It is.
And so, trust me, you don't need all of this. Last year, let last year stay in the past. Say never again. Let your retirement be at the mercy of a dumpster fire. Text the word invest. Get with one of our SmartVestor pros. Text invest to 33789. Text invest to 33789. Paul is with us in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Hey, Paul, welcome to the Dave Ramsey Show.
Hi, Dave and Chris. First, I'd like to say I really enjoyed your live presentation last night.
Oh, thank you.
And I want to give you a little background about myself. I'm an everyday millionaire. My wife and I should say.
Way to go.
Yes.
We just kind of live a conservative life. We don't want the best. We're content with what we have. We drive 2 small cars when we could afford a big SUV. We're just content people. So we've been able to save and invest.
Good.
And my question is, right now I've retired a year ago, and I've got money in a traditional IRAs and in the Roth IRAs, to the tune of about $500,000 for each one. Now I know the RMD is coming up when I'm 71. Right now I'm 65. Would it make sense to convert the traditional to some Roth, or just stay with what I have?
Well, obviously, as you convert it, do you have extra cash to convert it and pay the taxes with?
Yeah, I probably have $400,000 on top of what I have here.
Okay. And just miscellaneous cash. And so,
IRAs.
obviously, if you roll 500 into a Roth, it all becomes taxable. And so you're going to create
Yes.
yeah, you're going to create taxes of what, 100, 150, something like that out of that. And if you want to do that, and then that does away with your RMD issue, because my guess is part of what's bothering you is you don't need any of this money. You want to let it roll.
Well, basically, I'm hoping to pass it on to my children, and it might be less messy to do that if it's in a Roth.
Agreed. Mm-hmm. Agreed.
It just hurts to think about the taxes on that.
Yeah, but the math will work out this way: you will recoup at about the 10-year mark. And so if you're not that 500 that's in the traditional, if we say, all right, today we roll it, 10 years from today, you'll be glad you did. Prior to that, you won't be. You would have been you'd have been better off to have left it in there and pay the taxes on the growth, the continued growth, and pay taxes on whatever you have to draw down on RMD as you pull it out. And so that, if you guys are in good health, I'm probably rolling it. But because basically that extra tax money you pay has the same exact effect mathematically as having invested that. If you don't reduce the $500 by the tax and you allow the whole $500 to stay in the Roth, it has the same effect of putting another $150 into a Roth or whatever your tax bill is. Have you calculated the tax bill?
Well, not really, but I think we're probably in the 20%, 25% range.
Okay. So then 100 then is what we're talking about. And, what could happen is it might cause bracket creep if you do it all in 1 year. You may want to straddle a calendar year. You may want to do some this year, some in 22 to keep, get with your tax guy and run tax person and run some calculations on when you move it. But overall, if you guys are healthy, I'm moving it.
Yeah. No, that's good. And, Paul, I'm going to tell you this. I love the fact that you have this legacy mindset and you want to pass some on to your kids, but I want you and your wife to enjoy it. Like, I want you guys to go do some stuff. Take some trips. Get you an RV. Right? I want you to start to live and enjoy this because you all have been very intentional. You've worked very hard to reach everyday millionaire status. Congratulations. Your hard work and diligence and consistency paid off.
Yeah.
Well done.
Very, very well done. It sounds like with the house, depending on what the house is, probably a $2 million net worth.
Oh, easy, yeah.
So, well done.
Good.
That's pretty incredible. And, it's not your nature to be frivolous with money. That's not what Chris is suggesting. But you did work, you did live like no one else. So now you should live and give like no one else.
That's
and the give portion is part of your legacy that you're planning with the kids and all of that. But I don't want you to, eat stale tuna fish and day-old bread so the kids get $4 more.
Yeah, no. To me, I think that's ridiculous. So it's important. But, yeah, definitely talk to a tax professional. And, Dave, the thought of being able to straddle it over the year and spread it out, that's very wise, as well as your investment professional so you can know exactly where you are, the timing, and what to do. And also, real quick, as we talk so much about SmartVestor Pros, you all, I really and truly want you to make sure you get connected with one today if you're not. In these times, with all the stuff that's going on, it is imperative that you have someone that you can reach out to just have a conversation about their thoughts on what's going on or what could happen. You don't have to speculate. You don't have to listen to the talking heads on TV news. You can talk to a pro. And I really want you to know they're not going to judge you. They're there to help you. So definitely reach out. Go to DaveRamsey.com. Get connected to a SmartVestor Pro.
There you go. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Abigail is with us in Austin, Texas. Hey, Abigail, how are you?
Hi, Dave. I'm great. Thank you for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
So I own 3 rental properties, and one of them I own with my ex-husband. I own 75%. He owns 25%.
Joyful.
And well, he and I, we get along very well. He's a realtor. I'm a realtor. We see eye to eye. So there's no disharmony around the management of the property. But so the deal is this, because I'm interested to know what you would do in this situation. Given that interest rates are so low, I inquired with my mortgage banker about refinancing. So right now it's at 4.5%, and she told me we could get down to 2.625%. But at that time, my ex-husband said, do you want to buy me out? Because he's like, I don't want to refinance and extend the loan, whatever. So she did let me know that we could roll it all in together. The problem is that so the house the value is somewhere around $400 to $425, and so my share would be around $100. And when I just run the numbers, it looks like I would negative cash flow by a couple $1,000 per year if I took on that additional debt load. Mm-hmm. And so, I just wanted to get your opinion about what you would do in this circumstance. My ex-husband is fine to continue as is, not refinancing.
So what is the current mortgage is $200?
The balance, you mean?
Your current balance today is what?
120.
120. Okay. All right. Ooh. All right. I'm coming up on the clock. Hang on. When we come back from this break, we'll talk this through with you. This is the Dave Ramsey Show. Chris Hogan, Ramsey Personalities, my co-host today. We're talking with Abigail in Austin, Texas. All right, Abigail, let me go back and make sure I got my numbers right because my head's spinning a little bit here. You got a rental property you own with your ex. It's worth $400. You owe $120. You own 75%. He owns 25%. You're talking about refinancing from an interest rate in the high fours to an interest rate down in the twos, which makes a lot of sense. He doesn't want to do that, but while it all came up, he said, hey, just buy me out. Is that what you told me?
That's exactly correct.
And you told me that if you were to refinance and buy him out, that you would be negative cash flowing per year. Okay? Well, that's where I got lost because let's see here. You've got a $280,000 equity, but you should not be buying him out on the $280,000. You should buy him out based on $400 minus about $40 for expenses. And so you've got about a $240,000 equity. Does that sound about right?
I got lost there.
Okay. Okay. If you're buying a partner out on a piece of real estate, you don't do it at retail. You do it at what it would be net in a sale. And so if you sell a $400,000 piece of property, you guys are real estate agents, so you might not have the commissions, but the commissions you would have made, if you paid out a commission and you had other miscellaneous expenses and you negotiated a little bit, the $400 would be discounted by about 10% at least. You might net 90% of the gross amount, right?
Okay.
And so that'd be $40,000 off. And you got a $280,000 equity, so there's a $240,000 equity. So his portion is only worth about $60,000.
Okay.
See how I did? I mean, that's fair. That's not ripping him off. That's not ripping you off. Nobody's getting a deal here. But, I have the same thing set up in my estate plan because I've got a bunch of real estate. If one of the kids wants to buy out one of the other kids on a piece of property so they don't have to own it together, they do it at an 80% ratio. Because it's not fair to do it at full appraisal. It's not that's craziness because that's not the way because they can't get that. They can't get full appraisal net. So anyway, 60 and 120 is only 180 of a mortgage on 400. I do not understand why that property is not cash flowing.
Okay. Well, in that scenario, that changes things. If I was thinking that I would be adding $100,000 to the balance.
Well, there's no way it's $100,000. This is $280 at the most.
So you're saying this is because you have to. It's the equity versus the balance. In other words.
Yeah, you're buying out
full value because
it is the equity. Because the only thing, if you guys sell it, you get 75% of the equity. He gets 25% of the equity after expenses. Agreed?
Right. Yep.
And so his 25% is only worth 25% of the equity after expenses. That's what his position's worth. Your position's worth 75% of that. That's if you were in a court, for instance, and this was a negative breakup, that's how the judge would make you calculate it because that's the proper way of doing it. Because if you guys put it on the market and sell it, that's what you're going to net. He's going to net about 60.
Right. Okay.
And so, anyway, at $100,000 and $120,000 mortgage today, plus 60 or plus even 80, which is too much. That's only $200,000 mortgage on a $400,000 property. That should cash flow.
Okay.
I don't know unless this property is the rental market in this particular neighborhood sucking.
No. I mean, I'm getting right now. I mean, it definitely cash flows. Right now, I'm getting it's actually 2 houses on one lot, and combined it's $2,450 total rent.
That's not much on a $400,000 value.
Well, actually, you're correct, but we've had very long-term tenants, and so
to the point that you're discounted your rental by. I mean, that thing ought to be making 1% a month anyway. You ought to be making $4,000 on that.
Well, actually, no.
Then maybe you need to sell this property. You may need to sell this property because your cash-on-cash return or your internal rate of return on this, after you're doing NOI and everything, as deeply as you've got this thing discounted, this is not a good property. I wouldn't hold that property.
And Abigail, I'm going to tell you, not even based on numbers, based on life, based on simplifying your life and putting you in the driver's seat, is I'm not going to own a property with an X. I'm not. And so, I'm going to either buy out, as Dave was talking about, or I'm going to sell this thing. Just real simple. There's no reason for you to have to continue to go around and around, and I know things are going well right now, but you and I both know it's just going to take a hiccup. It's just going to take something for old stuff to come back. Clean your life out. Yeah. Get this thing, get it gone, and then you can go buy a home the right way.
Well, there's like 3 or 4 different things going on here. There's that, and that's a reason to get rid of it.
Yeah.
We've got to get the calculation, if you're going to do the buyout, down to what it should be and not overpay for the buyout. And so at least a 10% discount on your gross, reducing your equity by $40,000. And then the third problem is discovered late in the phone call, and that is that you guys are not making very good money on this property. If you have $400,000 invested in a piece of property, you need to be grossing $3,500 to $4,000 a month on that. In most markets, and Austin, Texas is not a bad market. And so you ought to be making somewhere in that approaching 1% a month on it in top line in order to have justified tying up that much money into something. So I listen, I got a lot of property. If I have a long-term renter, I don't always get full market,
right,
but I'm not running at 60% of market ever.
Right. Well, I think the thing she was trying to wrap her head around is, Dave, you just gave her a PhD in real estate, and she's a realtor. And me too. Just looking at this and talking about how to discount it before you sell it. And so, that's not something everybody knows, being aware of, because you're right. You are going to have fees. You are going to have expenses. So you can't just do a straight 25% or whatever it is in someone else's position.
No, I mean, that would be the deal of the year for him.
It would be a great deal.
Yeah. All right, Zach is with us. Zach's in Kalamazoo. Hi, Zach. How are you?
I'm great. Hi, Dave and Chris. Thank you for taking my call. So my wife and I are big fans. We had a great date night with Reset last night, so thank you for that.
Thank you.
So I'll get right to it. So I have 3 kids and need help figuring out how to allocate money into ESAs for each of them based on age and that. So my kids are 6, and then I have 2. I have twins at the age of 2, and then I have 1 more on the way in March.
Yay!
Thank you.
Well, what I would do is just sit down with your SmartVestor Pro with a financial calculator, and you can decide. You're talking about how much money to put in based on their age, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because we've got next to nothing started for anybody, and so we've got the 6-year-old, and obviously he's closest, and so we're wondering, do we throw a little more in his bucket? And then
yes, you would. You would, and that's fair. That's not unfair. Equal is not fair. Fair is not equal. So what is correct is to sit down. I mean, the technical way to do it, and I'm enough of a nerd, I would actually do this. I would just sit down and say, all right, we're looking at X for college, and let's just make up a number. I want $100,000 in this account. It's probably not enough, okay? But I want $100,000 in each of their accounts. What have I got to put in for a 6-year-old to do that? What have I got to put in for a 4-year-old to do that? And what have I got to put in for a 0 to do that? A 0-old. And so, because you can't start that account until they're born and you get a Social Security number anyway. But you could sit down and calculate that. And, if you wanted to, like, say, per month, and then if it comes out and the total of those numbers is more than you're ready to do on your baby step 5, it still gives you a ratio.
Mm-hmm.
If the 6-year-olds double the zero, double the new baby, then whatever you put in for the new baby, double it for the 6-year-old.
Right.
Or whatever you put in for the 6-year-old, take half of that and put it in for the baby. So you'll get a ratio of, even if you don't fully fund today, which is fine to not today. You got young enough, you'll catch up later. You know, if I just want you on baby step 5 to start doing something.
Yes. And that's going to give you peace of mind and clarity for the future.
Amen and amen.
Good job, Zach.
Well done, sir. Congratulations. This is the Dave Ramsey Show. Welcome to the Dave Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios, it's the Dave Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. I am Dave Ramsey, your host. Chris Hogan, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Stevie is with us in Erie, Pennsylvania. Hi, Stevie. Welcome to the Dave Ramsey Show.
Hi, thank you.
How can we help?
Well, my question is regarding choosing a financial partner looking towards marriage.
Okay.
So currently I'm in a serious relationship. You know, we're both pursuing a longer goal, but I've noticed some things that are red flags, I would say. And I'm not sure if I'm being overcritical in it or just being attentive to the situation. So this individual, for instance, there are a couple examples I can give. One of them is if we were to both go out to a restaurant. This person's been unemployed for the past 9 months, you know. They will order the most expensive item on the menu every single time when they are being paid for. But when it's my turn to pay, you know, I always pick the cheapest, keeping in mind the fact that we're both students and I'm also working currently. The second example would be he just graduated and he took 2 months to get persuaded into looking for jobs seriously. And now that he's found one, within 3 days, he's already considering quitting. To me, it just seems a bit of a red flag.
Stevie, how long have you all been together?
About 8 months.
How old are you guys?
I'm sorry, what was that?
How old are you guys?
I am 27, and he is about to be 26.
Okay.
Stevie, I'm going to tell you something. I think whenever you have those red flags and these things that you're talking about and looking at, these are things that I think there are probably more that you could allude to if we really pressed and talked. I'm going to tell you, you're probably dealing with someone that's not motivated. This to me could sound like it could end up being a project for you later in life on many other fronts. I would move on. I really and truly would, because you want someone that's equal with you, that wants to chase and conquer and work together as a team. Right now in the rowboat, you're the person that's rowing and he's relaxing, and I don't think that's the kind of life you want long term for you and your own legacy.
Yeah, and also it's a concern too. When a lot of people hear my major, they're like, "Oh, you're going to make money," but they don't realize the investment that's gone into it. And the work that's gone behind, like funding my own education.
Yeah. Well, you're a driven person. You're motivated. You've got things that you want to accomplish. And I don't think there's anything wrong with allowing this individual to be a good friend. But I would move on if I were you. I think you've seen enough red flags to let you know something's not quite right here.
You know, sometimes a way to it's a little tough for us in a 2-minute radio call to dictate the next decade of your future with a relationship situation. But a couple things pop into my mind just hearing your story and listening to you. There's no question you're a very goal-oriented person. You have a lot of initiative and a lot of drive. Mm-hmm. And so you're self-aware enough to know I could be overly concerned about this. I could be a little bit legalistic about it, and that's good to worry about that a little bit. To be on your part, you don't want to be a jerk on every little detail, right? But the second thing that you mentioned, unemployed for 9 months, finally does get a job, and then immediately hates the job and wants to quit. That one sounds a lot more serious than just the price of your entree. And the lack of manners around ordering the expensive thing when you're not paying. Manners, I mean, if we told somebody not to get married based on manners, Sharon wouldn't have ever married me. I didn't have any manners. Still don't have a lot, but she's taught me a few. But I finally figured out which fork and all that stuff. But two things pop into my head that I always think of when I'm in situations like yours. Three things. I had another one pop into my head. One is a buddy of mine says when there's something bothering you down inside, when your spirit is disturbed, there's a reason. And your spirit's disturbed, and that's why you called. And you're just looking for someone to confirm to you that it's okay to have a disturbed spirit. And he always says, when in doubt, don't. So if a deal feels funny, if I'm working on a business deal, or a client, and it feels funny, there's a reason it feels funny. There's something really going on there, and that is not to be discounted. And so that concerns me about your situation. The second thing is there's a book that my friend Henry Cloud did called Necessary Endings. When do you end a relationship of any kind? When do you end a relationship where you like you say, I'm going to quit a job, or I'm going to do a breakup, or I'm going to end a marriage, or I'm going to end this friendship? When do you end a relationship? It is when you lose hope that the thing of concern is never going to get any better. And the character qualities lack of character that you've outlined falls in that category. And so, when in doubt, don't. And then the last thing that popped into my head was this. Ask yourself, because you're wise beyond your years, 15, 20 years from now, your teenager girl, your teenage daughter is sitting in front of you, and she asks you this exact question. What are you going to tell her about this boyfriend? And that one, that may end it for him.
No. I mean, because
he may be done when you ask yourself
that pulls yourself out of the middle of it, and now you're looking and talking to someone you love.
In other words, does the 35-year-old you have respect for the 27, 26-year-old you?
Wow.
When you look back and you go, whoo, dodged a bullet on that one, or, hey, I'm glad I didn't overreact to couple of little things.
That's right. That's a good
one
point.
of the two ways is okay.
That's a great perspective.
And just back up from it a little bit. And so those are three things that I use. I look for that kind of a thing and say, long term, am I going to be glad I did this?
Right.
Because if you back off and say, long term, is this a good investment? Long term, am I glad that when I'm 75 years old, I mean, if we're negotiating severance with somebody that we've let go here,
right,
and a few dollars makes it better that the pain of someone leaving the building, I'm never going to regret those few dollars on my deathbed when I'm 78, right?
That's great.
And I would regret that a relationship was ruined that didn't need to be ruined.
Right. Wow.
Long-term perspective.
Good perspective.
This is the Dave Ramsey Show. Folks, it's an honor to tell you about the Army National Guard. Not only are they big supporters of our high school curriculum, but they also give you the opportunity to impact your local communities. Whether your goals are to get an education, serve your country, or have a better life, the Army National Guard can help get you there. Plus, they offer unbelievable financial benefits. Secure your future today. Visit nationalguard.com to find out more. Chris Hogan, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author, is my co-host today here on the Dave Ramsey Show. Got a special treat for me, and I hope and I think for all of you as well. I've got my friend Clark Howard on the line. Hey, Clark, how are you, brother?
It's so great to join you. How are you doing today?
Man, I am great. For those of you across America that have been living in a cave somewhere, you don't know things. But if you do know things, you know Clark Howard is a big deal in talk radio and has been for several decades. He and I have been in the same space, the money space and the consumer advocate space. He spends a lot of his time on the air originally talking about how to get a good deal on like an airline ticket. He still does some of that. And it has had several #1 best-selling books. He's in the National Radio Hall of Fame. Our paths have intersected many times. I've got huge respect for this guy, and he has just made the decision to retire from radio. He's going to continue to teach and continue to have the Clark Howard Show on podcast and it's the work he does on his websites and everything. But we just wanted to have him on and honor my friend because he's done so much for so many decades for so many people using the power of radio to help them. Clark, thank you, brother.
Well, thank you. And you and I were inducted in the Hall of Fame on the same night. Like, was it 6 years ago, something like that?
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's true.
Yeah.
Irony of ironies, because you and I really were, I think we're probably by far the two largest names in radio in the money space or the consumer space, I guess. There were a couple of other people in radio back in the day doing this stuff when we were there, but I think they've moved on to retirement many years ago.
And I think you and I could be wrong about this, but I think you and I are the only two people in syndicated radio, just about in the history of syndicated radio, that own and operate our own shows rather than working for the man.
You know what? That's true. That would be true, let's say, of size. There's a few of them do it that have two shows or 2 or 3 stations, but you had a pretty substantial network, and we do too. And, yeah, it's exactly right. And you had resisted that. So I stumbled across your retirement because we picked up like 10 or 15 of your old stations. When you
Wow, congratulations.
Well, thank
to
you. Yeah, it was a natural fit, and I was complimented that those stations thought that that I could that audience of yours would accept me as well as anything else or better than anything else out there, and so that added to our network. So it's good. None of those stations got handed off to the man.
Well, you are so much more energetic than I am that I reached a point where I'm working so much, and our websites, because digital is where the growth is, it was absorbing so much of my time that I was getting to a point where I was exhausted all the time. And so something had to give. And what had to go away was radio. It just weren't enough hours in the day for me. And so the podcast and the websites, that's where it's at for me now.
So when someone, if they haven't for some reason listened to the Clark Howard Show and they tune it up on a podcast right now, what are they going to hear? What are you covering? How are they? I know, but I'm giving you an underhand pitch here. Tell them what your podcast is about.
So what I very heavily concentrate on is something I heard in one of your spots a minute ago. It's about how to get your spending under control. How do you get your life where you need it to be, where you're living consistently every pay period on less than what you make? And there are so many things we do now. We have so many decisions we have to make that we get overwhelmed and we end up spending money on things and then the bills become automatic where they're debiting our checking account or whatever every month. And so I really try to get people to focus on controlling those expenses, understanding with the big ones, housing and cars, how those can eat up too much of your wallet. And then with the regular spending, how to get those things under control where you don't just set them and forget them, you pay attention to them so that you have more money left at the end of every pay period.
And, of course, that's where we're completely aligned, and, why people that are fans of Clark Howard are often fans of Dave Ramsey and vice versa. Now, what you are light years better at, and always have been than I have been, is you really dig up deals and you keep a good list of them and present them to your audience. I mean, you've got that clarkdeals.com. You can just go to that website and find out a list of your deals, right?
Okay, so this is the angel on one shoulder, devil on the other. So here I am talking about spend less, spend less, spend less, and then I say, wait a minute, there's this great deal. You got to know about this deal. So you don't look at the deals till you got the other part together. But yes, I love the bargains, and I love for people to know how to know when something is a deal instead of a pretend. Just because somebody says something's for sale, how do you know it's really a sale and not a non-sale sale? And so I want people to be as efficient with their spending as they possibly can so that they free up choices in their lives. I want people to not feel like they're having to work because they're facing a mountain of expense and bills and obligations. I want them to work because they love what they do. And then I want them to have excess money so they can put it to work in good ways in the world. So they tithe or they give to organizations that they care about, that they spend time serving others in whatever way works best for them. So having money available isn't with money being your God. No, it's about living on less than what you make so that you can have the freedom to do more things that you enjoy and in service to others.
And it works every time. Clark Howard is our guest this segment. He is retired from radio, but not from broadcasting. You can still hear the Clark Howard Show on podcast. Go to clark.com. It's available on all the platforms. Be sure you continue to tune in. And for those of you that for some reason have not tuned in prior to now, I'll give it my hearty endorsement and say be sure you do that. He and I have been friends, acquaintances for a long, long time. We've been in the same space here in radio, both trying to survive in a corporate world that's kind of cutthroat. And both of us have survived, and we have both prospered by delivering good, solid content to our audience and helpful content to our audiences, and just a good man. He's also a huge philanthropist. He gives and gives and gives and gives. He walks the talk for sure. If I remember right, did you and I not do a radiothon at a cancer hospital there in Atlanta?
We did. I do fundraisers for children's cancer centers in not just Atlanta, but other places as well. Because, when I see a child suffering from cancer, it affects not just that child, but the whole family. Yeah. And it just eats at my heart as a father of 3 children.
I remember touring that thing. I remember touring that hospital with you and meeting some of those kids that were going through that and their parents. And you just go out there with your stomach in your throat. It's amazing. Right. It was an honor to get to work on that with you. So.
I want not just the money that I'm able to raise. I also want to raise awareness. I want people to know the phenomenal people who work as nurses and doctors and other people in hospitals who take on one of the most difficult tasks of all, which is to get attached to a child and watching a child suffer. And I mean, that is a very special kind of human being who chooses to work in a children's cancer center and the great work they do. Do you know the survival rate of children's cancers now is above 80%? And if you go back 2 generations ago, it was only 25%.
Yeah, they really are beating it. It's pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. Well, Clark, thank you for taking time to join us. Congratulations on your partial retirement here.
Thank you, and continued success to you and to the people who watch me on my various TV affiliates around the country. I really am as ugly as I look on TV, but that's okay. The information's beautiful.
All right, folks, be sure to tune in to Clark Howard, The Clark Howard Show, anywhere you listen to podcasts. You'll be glad you did. Congratulations, my friend. Thank you for taking time to come on.
Sure, and continued success to you too, Dave.
God bless. All right, this is the Dave Ramsey Show. What makes our show unique is that we genuinely care about our listeners. We're intentional about choosing the best advertisers to recommend. Blinds.com is no exception. They offer high-quality window treatments at unbelievable prices. And they make it simple to shop blinds, shades, and interior shutters with easy online ordering, free shipping, and a guaranteed perfect fit. Go to Blinds.com and take advantage of this week's special savings. Chris Hogan, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. That's 888-825-5225. Brittany's in Amarillo, Texas. Hi, Brittany. Welcome to the Dave Ramsey Show.
Hi, Dave. It's such an honor to speak with you. I loved the reset last night.
Thank you. Glad you watched. I appreciate it. Hogan did a great job, didn't he?
I can't even say how much I loved it. It was wonderful.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
How can we help today?
I'm hoping that maybe you can help me decide if I should delay going to school for 1 year to save up money or if I should just jump in. A little bit of information is I'm a 28-year-old single mom, and I make $40,000 a year. I'm in baby step 3, and I have $4,000 saved. And I've been cash flowing school part-time right now with grants and different things, but I'm pursuing a degree or a career in dental hygiene, which is a full-time program, and the cost is increases once I get into the program. So I'm looking at going this fall for that, but I don't know if I should wait and save up a bunch of money because I'll have to be working part-time, or if I should just go and try to cash flow and work like crazy while I'm in school.
Okay. Can you cash flow the school and your life if you work like crazy and go this fall?
And have a relationship with my daughter, maybe. I don't think, I'm not sure.
How long is the school?
It's 2 full years.
How old is your daughter?
5. She's 3.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll have, the initial cost is going to be like $11,000 at the beginning of the first semester, but it goes down after that because I have to buy a $7,000 kit and things like that. So that's why the initial cost is going to be more than what it will cost for the rest of the program.
Okay, so your concern is the only way you can cash flow it is a lot of hours of work in addition to going to school.
Yes, and I'll have to quit my current job because the program.
But if you wait a year, what happens? What changes? You're going to have just a pile of cash you could live on, and you wouldn't have to be gone so much working.
Yes, I'm just scared that I'll lose some momentum because I've been going and I've been believing in myself enough to get through. I'm just scared that I'll quit.
I don't think you're going to quit.
Mm-mm. No, you sound motivated. You sound very, very focused on not only doing something for yourself, Brittany, but also for your daughter.
How long
I really want.
I can hear it in your voice the passion. Do you have a support network around you to help you with your daughter?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
A great one.
That's good.
My parents are here, and I have a really supportive boyfriend that believes in my dreams as well.
Okay, so you're going to quit your full-time job and you're going to dental hygienist in the fall, and you're going to work a part-time job to pay bills while you're going to school, right?
Yes.
Doing what, and what are the hours?
I don't know. I assume I've been working retail somewhere, like
Yuck.
just somewhere working nights and weekends or being a waitress or something.
Yeah. Okay. I think if you solve that part of the equation and have more detail, it could give you peace. Let me give you an example. Okay, let's pretend that it was neither one of the things you mentioned, but that the new part-time job was something where you made better money than those two things, and I'm making this up in my head, but also you had control over your time. Maybe it was a little bit of a small business idea. Maybe you were, what do you do now?
I'm an administrative assistant for an accounting firm.
Perfect. Let's pretend that you were an off-site, and let's open a business called virtual administrative assistant, and you are going to become an administrative assistant for 3 different small businesses that cannot afford a full-time one. And you're a part-time for all 3 of them, but it does not require you be answering the phone during a certain time of the day. It just requires that you get administrative assistant work done, which, by the way, you could do after the 3-year-old went to bed.
Okay.
And you'd make more than you will in the dadgum retail.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I'm just making this up. But what my point is if you had something like that mapped out that you believed was real and you start working towards that, I think a lot of your worry and stress about abandoning your child, which is where the tears are coming from, is going to go away.
Yeah.
But if you have to work 40 hours a week at retail just to barely scrape by because you're not making any money, and your schedule is at their beck and call, they own you, then you are going to have a real stress point with the baby, right?
Right. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And so let's just take that off the table. Yeah. Either design something where you control your time and you make more money as your work-through gig, or you wait a year.
Okay.
Because you're not going to quit.
Brittany, what baby step are you on right now?
I'm on baby step 3, and I have $4,000 saved up.
Okay, you are on 3. Okay. I don't think, even if you delay it a year, I don't think you're going to give up. I really don't. I think, what I would ask you to do, though, is to really search your heart and see, is the dental hygienist, is that the thing you're absolutely passionate about?
Yeah.
Because you're going to be making too many sacrifices for something that's a maybe. So I think in that period of time, you can be, as my grandmother would say, prayerful and careful to get certain about what it is you want to do, and then begin to make the sacrifices necessary so you can get there.
Let me tell you what I know about people in your situation. I've worked with single moms for 30 years, and they never think, not never, but they work so hard. They work so many jobs just to try to get by, and they never think they're doing as good a job as they are. And lady, you're a warrior, and you don't even know it. And you're doing so much better as a mom and as a woman than you think you are, because you've just been a raw nerve for so long that you forget how good you are. And I tell you, and the other thing I got a whole building full of millennials, and a whole bunch of them were raised by single moms, and they all stand up and salute their warrior mom.
Yep.
Including Chris Hogan.
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. It's one of those things where, let me be the first to tell you, Brittany, if you hadn't heard it, you're doing a good job.
Amen.
You are doing a good job. And keep being that role model for your daughter, because I'm going to tell you, what you deposit in that little girl right now are the things that she'll begin to amplify and replay in her head and in her heart. And that's the stuff that she'll begin to believe about herself and, more importantly, about the mom that raised her. So keep up the good work, keep your priorities in order, and keep people around you that believe in you, and remove those that don't.
Hadn't thought about it, but you and Christy Wright.
Yeah.
Both raised by warrior women.
Yep, without a doubt.
I mean, Christy's mom running a bakery.
Yep.
And your mom raising two boys.
Two boys working as a nurse. Yeah, no.
It's just, I mean, it's a feat. And
It really is.
it goes unsung, and it's not anything you sign anybody up for.
No,
I don't think it's not the way to go.
No.
It's not like something to aspire to. But when you're there, the way those ladies rise to those occasions and fight their way through.
That's exactly right.
It's pretty stinking amazing. Very well done. You're going to be okay either way. I think if you design a better job that pays more and you control your time more, like something like I outlined, you're going to get a lot more peace, and you're going to go on and go in the fall. This is the Dave Ramsey Show. Picture your life with no credit card debt, no medical debt, no student loans, no car payments. Can you even breathe that in? How much better would you feel? After 2020, most of America feels the same way you do right now, stressed and out of control, but this year can be different. It is time for you to take control of your money, to insulate yourself from all the crap going on out there. And the best way to do that is the Ramsey Plus Money Reset. It's our challenge for anyone who starts Ramsey Plus this year. How much progress can you make on your money if you went all in for 90 days? Game on, baby, for 90 days. All in to paying off your debt fast and finally saving for emergencies. With Ramsey Plus, we're going to show you ways to get daily small wins with your money, and even some really big ones, but when you add them all together, it's big. And you're going to be making progress, maybe for the first time in your life, on this money stuff. We're going to help you turn those wins into lifelong habits. This year, you can just decide to reset your money. You can go all in for 90 days and take control of your money. Make today day one and start Ramsey Plus for free. DaveRamsey.com/reset. Check it out. DaveRamsey.com/reset. And all of that, of course, is off the reset event that we did last night with Chris Hogan, Craig Groeschel, Rachel Cruz, and you can still watch that. It'll be up for a few more hours. It was live last night. 240,000 people registered to watch it last night. It was the number 2 thing on YouTube in the world.
That's mind-boggling. I mean, that is absolutely fantastic that you had that many people plugging in, getting this kind of information to kick off this year the right way. And what we're not going to do is sit around and wait on someone to save the day. As I've been telling people for years, let's get your own cape. And when you have a system that can help you like Ramsey Plus, that is part of the process.
And there's a cape shortage in Washington, D.C. Yeah. Here, I'll give you $600. Did that change your life? If $600 changed your life, let me help you with this. Your life sucks.
Yeah.
It didn't change your life. Even if you're unemployed and you're having trouble making ends meet and you're struggling, $600 doesn't change. I mean, all it does is just give you a half a second of breathing room and you're right back in the soup. And then they walk around strutting around up there acting like they did something. They didn't do anything except run this nation further into debt. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. All for the political aspect of I did something for you, so you need me.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need you. Of either party. We don't need you. We don't have to have you. So you got to get yourself in that kind of position where that kind of attitude is possible. If you're sitting around waiting on the government to fix your life is always going to suck. Eli is with us in Chicago. Hi, Eli. Welcome to the Dave Ramsey Show.
Hey, Dave. How are you and Chris doing?
Great, man. How can we help?
Man, you know what? I hope you guys have more than a minute to talk because I got a bone to pick with you, too. I'm in a mess because I followed your baby steps. Like you said, I was able to buy my house cash, and then I sold some of my real estate properties, and I have $500,000 now in cash. And I don't know what to do with it, and this is all you and Chris's fault.
Yeah, I hate it when this happens.
Eli, I apologize, buddy. I apologize.
And by the way, right off the bat, I want to say I watched your show last night. It was phenomenal. Chris, I love when you pick on your kids.
Yes. Thank you.
All right, so do you have any rentals left? Do you have any debt left at all?
So no, I'm 37 years old, and I'm going to get a pension with the city. I work with the city here in Chicago. Like I said, my house is worth about $400,000. I paid it off in cash.
Mm-hmm.
I have $500,000. I'm trying to figure out if I'm.
Why did you sell the rental?
Behind. So in Chicago, I'm so busy with my job, and my dad passed away recently, so I've been helping my mom out a lot. So I didn't want to overwhelm myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I saved up all that, cash that I had, bought a house for my wife and I, and then anything I had over with the real estate, like I have it sitting, but I don't have anything saved for retirement. Those were supposed to be my retirement, the building.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm trying to see if am I ahead or at 37 years old, or am I behind a little bit because I won't.
You're almost. You either are or you're almost a millionaire.
Yes.
So you're ahead. You're a 37-year-old everyday millionaire. Okay, so the question is this. You don't want to buy more real estate because it's too much hassle because you have so many things going on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
Correct.
Okay.
Sure.
Then I only do two things with money, Eli, and so I don't ever recommend. I don't tell people to do stuff I'm not willing to do. So I don't get fancy with it. One of the things I discovered when I first started talking to rich people after I went broke 30 years ago was the stuff they do is they put money in things they understand, and they are not concerned about you being impressed with their sophistication. They put money in stuff they know something about.
That's right.
And I don't put, and they're most of these guys that have anywhere from a $1 million to a $20 million net worth, they are not fancy with their investing.
Mm-hmm.
It's very pretty straightforward. And we found that again when we surveyed all these millionaires in the $1 to $5 million range in particular.
That's right.
So what I'm going to tell you is mutual funds, since you don't want to do real estate. I only do mutual funds and real estate. That's all I do. And so if I woke up and I was in your shoes and right now I didn't want to screw with real estate, I just need to get some money working for me, I'd put it in mutual funds across the four types we talk about.
Without a doubt. And Eli, I'm proud of you for making the sacrifice to be able to free you up to be able to help your mom. I'm sorry to hear about your dad passing, but you're right. When you make priorities, you make decisions, you make sacrifices to match them. And that's what you've done. And so, my friend, I'm going to tell you something. Don't overthink this. Get connected with the SmartVestor Pro at 37 years old. You are an everyday millionaire. Let's grow this money. Be intentional about what you're doing. But here's the thing you're going to have to do. Here's the word that's going to be the difference between if you become a multimillionaire or not, and that is playing defense. You've got to be smart and go cash only. And if you want a truck, save up and buy a truck. You want a boat? Well, don't buy a boat. But just be smart. Be intentional. But don't go backward for debt for any reason at all, and you're going to be on a great path.
See, if you take $500 and it's invested in mutual funds and they make 10 to 12%, it's roughly going to double every 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
You're 37. At 44, it'll be $1 million.
Yeah.
At 51, it'll be $2 million. At 58, it'll be $4 million. I think you're going to be okay.
He's going to be okay.
If that's all you do.
That's right.
what I mean by not fancy.
Right.
You're not constantly screwing with it. You're not going, oh, it's out of sync. Oh, there's a problem. If you just put it in there and set it and forget it.
Leave it alone.
Look at it. You watch it, obviously, but I'm saying you don't have to constantly be like every day fretting over where this mutual fund is and all that.
Looking it up online.
If it does what the market has done over its history, that's roughly what's going to happen. Is every 7 years or so it's going to double.
Yeah.
And that's if you don't add anything to it.
Right.
And if you don't take anything out.
That's right. And that's what I was saying about not doing stupid and staying allergic to debt. Because the thing we know about debt is that it's needy and greedy. Right? It's needy and greedy.
He's away from that.
He's on
done.
it.
He's done.
Just don't go backwards.
He's done.
Stay
just
focused.
don't let stupid sneak up on you.
Slide up on you.
It'll sneak up on you.
Sounds like a good deal. It ain't.
Yeah, and that when that happens is what I was addressing earlier for folks is there's this allure that if it's not complicated or uber sophisticated, it must not be good.
Yeah.
Like we think the rich really do know secrets we don't know or something, and they really don't.
Yeah, no.
All they did was what you already know. They just did it a lot.
Boring, and they do it consistently.
The consistency.
Yeah,
well, Craig was
really
talking about consistency last night.
Yeah, he did. Listen, if you've not watched the Reset Talk, get over there and watch it before they pull it. Dave told the story of the pigs. You got to hear it. And Craig Rochelle did a great job as well.
Man. Well, and then there's Hogan and Rachel Cruz. I mean, it was an all-star lineup.
Yeah.
Love it, love it. That puts this hour of the Dave Ramsey Show in the books. Thanks to James Childs, our producer. Madison filling in for Kelly today. This is the Dave Ramsey Show. Welcome to the Dave Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios, it's the Dave Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. I am Dave Ramsey, your host. Thank you for joining us, America. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Chris Hogan, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author, is my co-host today. You jump in. We'll talk about your life and your money. Again, 888-825-5225. Drew is in Gilbert, Arizona. Hi, Drew. Welcome to the Dave Ramsey Show.
Hi, Dave. Chris, it's a pleasure to talk with you both, and appreciate the reset last night that you guys did. Really appreciate it, all you guys do.
Thank you, sir.
So we've been following you guys for quite a few years, and our kids are a product of your teachings, basically, and your principles. So we've got 5 kids, and I told my oldest son when he was in junior high that I wasn't going to be able to pay for 5 kids to go to college. So he started pushing a lawnmower, started doing yard work, doing things to save, prepare for college. And he did. And so he started to grow, started making money, and he's a natural saver and entrepreneur. So he's a freshman in college now. He's got all of college paid for, basically in a savings account. And now he's just making more money. He's got basically 6 figures that are coming in, and trying to help him understand what to do, what's next. How do I advise, with and help him plan getting through college, and then this financial blessing that it's a tribute to his hard work and dedication.
Wow.
What to do with that.
What a great kid.
Yes.
You're a proud dad, too, and you ought to be. Well done.
Oh, yeah.
Well done. Well, I mean, I am okay with people not investing except into their education, into themselves while they're in school, even if that means there's a pretty good sized pile of money when they come out. Because when you come out of school and then you're full-time into the career, whatever that is, and it sounds like this guy's going to be an entrepreneur, having an extra $100,000 laying there to start your life is never bad.
Yeah, definitely. So there's one thing he's getting interested in is finance, right? So the markets.
I wouldn't screw around with anything too complicated. If you want to park it in something like an index fund or something like that, an S&P 500, Chris, what do you think?
Yeah, I would just, again, Drew, I'm going to help him to be very aware. His most important investment is in himself right now and taking care of college. So he can have an interest in it, but I would not put him in that game just yet. You might take him and go sit down with the Smart Vista Pro, start to look at those funds and talk about investing some to allow him to have an interaction and to gain confidence.
But in terms of I'm going to start my wealth building process, I'm going to start my retirement process. You can. It's okay to, but the most important goal is to make sure he graduates with no debt and he graduates.
Yeah, I agree. And I think you going in with him, Drew, he can have that conversation, learn. You can talk with him, and I don't see a problem fanning the flame of knowledge for him. But as far as doing it, I wouldn't get too tactical right now. But he's done an amazing job.
Wow.
And be sure to celebrate him as that dad.
Regularly.
Yes, so he knows it.
Amen. Anthony is in Trenton, New Jersey. Hi, Anthony. How are you?
Good. How are you, Dave?
Better than I deserve. How can we help?
All right. So I'm a 23-year-old. I live in New Jersey. I have a 2011 Chevy Cruze. It's worth about $2,000 or $3,000. I also have a 2003 Nissan 350Z, and I drive the Chevy Cruze. The 350Z was just kind of like I got it for cheap. I just fixed it up, and I'm trying to sell it right now. I have an apartment. The rent is about $1,200 a month, but I split it with my girlfriend, and I pay $900. She pays the rest. I guess my question is, I'm looking to buy a new car. The one I have is kind of giving me problems and stuff, so I'm looking to see maybe getting like a Toyota Tacoma or something like that. But the only issue is the car is about $15,000. And I have $18,000 saved right now, and I'm just trying to see what you think. If you think I should pull the trigger on something that expensive, or I should wait.
What do you make?
$55,000 gross pay.
Okay. Well, a rule of thumb I use is not own things that have motors and or wheels added together that equal more than half your annual income, because they all go down in value. It doesn't sound like you're going to violate that. I'm a little confused as to why you have two cars.
Sometimes like I buy cars that are like I used to work on cars, so I know a thing or two about them. The Nissan was just a really good deal, and so I just picked it up, fixed some issues with it, and I was planning on selling it.
Okay.
It just hasn't sold yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's just sitting in my driveway.
Okay, and so you'd sell the Chevy Cruze, and your daily driver would be the Tacoma.
Well, hold on a minute, Anthony. If you said you work on cars, why can't you fix the one you drive?
I can, but the thing is, the work that it needs, it costs about, it'd probably be around $2,000.
That's all a stinking car's worth.
I got you. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you got the money. You don't want to be below your emergency fund of 3 to 6 months of expenses, and you're getting pretty close on that because you only got 18 and you're talking about spending 15, right?
Right, yeah, that was the thing.
Yeah, I don't want to get below whatever 3 months of your expenses are. You don't want to get below that in the account after you buy the Tacoma.
Well, and we sell the Chevy, we get rid of the Nissan Z, and then use some of the money out of savings and get a new to-him car.
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
Yeah, but you may not get to the $15K
You may not need the $15K out of pocket because you got the proceeds from the other two cars.
Other two cars coming.
Yeah, that may make up the difference in the emergency fund because the $3K left in that emergency fund sounds shallow.
Yeah, it does, Dave. Especially living in Jersey.
Sounds thin.
I mean, that's thin.
So, let's just make sure you don't leave yourself vulnerable because of a stupid car. That's what it comes down to. So it might be a $12,000 car. That might be what you're after. I don't know, but somewhere in there. And you're not over half your annual income invested in things with wheels and motors, so you're cool there. You're paying cash, so you're cool there. So overall, the deal is good. Just don't ever get below your 3 to 6 months of expenses and emergencies because you're inviting trouble
That's right. And
it's
Anthony,
like sending out a ticket.
It is. And even if you've got to pick up gigs on the weekend of fixing other people's cars, that's a natural side hustle for you. You love cars. You have the skill and talent to be able to work on them. So, again, thinking outside the box. And you hold off 2 or 3 more months, and then maybe you can go get that other $15,000.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
So, sacrifice. So, you got to make sure you have a plan for that.
We live in a car culture, and I love cars. I'm a car junkie, so I kind of enjoy the whole process of messing around with them, and I enjoy having a nice one and all that kind of stuff. Not because I care what somebody else thinks. I just like driving them.
Yeah.
And but the thing is, they go down in value so fast, and it is the largest thing that everyone buys that goes down in value. It goes the wrong way. So you've just got to limit the damage that it does to your finances, and that's why we say no more than half your annual income tied up in it, even if you're paying cash.
And you drive really fast, too.
Well, there's that. This is the Dave Ramsey Show.
We were drawn to Christian Healthcare Ministries because we both had young families and we wanted to have more children. And we had also just started a real estate company and needed to find healthcare coverage that would meet our needs. We were attracted to CHM because of its low monthly costs and the ability to negotiate medical costs down.
Established in 1981 and accredited by the Better Business Bureau, CHM is here to meet the needs of your growing family or small business. Check us out at chministries.org.
We absolutely believe in it.
Chris Hogan, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Paying off debt is, of course, smart. Saving and investing is, of course, smart. But there is a key to winning with money that's often forgotten, and that's protecting your family from emergencies. There are 10 kinds of insurance coverage that are good. There's a lot of gimmicks in that world, but you might need all of these 10 kinds depending on your life stage, and we built a tool to show you what coverage you need to add, drop, or adjust. Takes only 5 minutes. It's the Coverage Checkup tool. Get your phone out and it's free. Text the word checkup to 33789. Text checkup to 33789. Our question of the day comes from blinds.com. They have a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Means even if you mismeasure, you pick the wrong color, they'll remake your window blinds for free. Free samples, free shipping, new promos all the time. Use the promo code Ramsey to get the best possible deal.
All right, today's question comes from Michael in California. He says, I'm currently saving 15% of my income into my Roth 401k plan through my employer. The 401k plan's portfolio is based on my year of retirement. I'm 38 years old and make around $140,000 a year. I was wondering if you recommend sticking with what was prearranged for me in my Works 401k portfolio, spread the money out into my own, into the 4 different categories of mutual funds I've heard you all talk about on your show, or is that not an option with work-sponsored Roth 401ks? Well, I mean, looking at this, Michael, what it sounds like is they've got you in a target date fund. Mm-hmm. And a target date fund is simply this. It's just age-based. Has nothing to do with your progress or future. It's just making an assumption. So I'm definitely going to recommend that you utilize the 4 types of mutual funds that we talk about.
Yeah, you'll get a better rates of return. These, I don't believe in the prepackaged portfolios, if you can avoid them at all, if there's a way to avoid them. And it depends on how your 401k servicer has structured the thing. But I don't want anything that's prearranged for me in my 401k. Yeah. I want you to decide what mutual funds your money's going into. I want you to make the decision. I want you to be in control of this. The prearranged part scares the crud out of me. So I'm with Chris. We recommend, and I personally don't do prearranged. We don't even offer prearranged portfolios in my 401k for our 1,000 team members here. Yeah. We don't even offer it. We just put the mutual fund options up there. We expect you to learn about them and choose for yourself like a grown-up.
Yeah, because it's amazing, Dave. Those funds automatically assume that you gear down and take absolutely no risk, or also not get any growth after a certain age, which is ridiculous. So, again, you want to be in control, work with a SmartVestor Pro, and invest in things that are going to bring you a rate of return.
Nick is in Atlanta. Hi, Nick. Welcome to the Dave Ramsey Show.
Hi, Dave. How you guys doing?
Great, man. How can we help?
So right now I'm in a situation where I'm getting married in July. We're blessed for my future fiance.
Yay!
And yep, super excited for it. It's awesome. So she's great, and we're really excited for our future. And I just have to say, you guys and your program is something that I love, and it gravitates for me so well. I love the grind mentality and the long haul. And so right now we're on baby steps 2. We're just paying off our debt, and we talked about attacking it. Really, between the two of us, it's just my car, my student loans, her car. And I just wanted to get your opinion on if you think financially we're in a good spot and we're attacking this the right way.
Okay. So how much debt do you have?
So my student loans is $6,500, which I plan on having done by the time July comes through.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have my car, which is $16,000, and her car, which is right now at $8,000.
Okay. And what do you make?
Combined $90,000.
Well, you're not combined yet. What do you make?
54.
What's she? Well, then she makes 46, right? Or 36?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay. But you don't pay on each other's debt.
Yeah.
And it sounds like when you get married, you're going to have 2 car payments with a $90,000 income, and that's going to be your first order of business, just to knock those out. Do either one of you have big money in savings?
Yes. Right now, I've got $45,000 saved.
Okay. How much does she have saved?
15.
And how much you all planning to spend on this wedding?
It's going to be about 15, but we're going to get some help from our parents.
Okay.
How much are you planning on spending on the wedding? How much is your fiance going to spend, not the parents?
It's going to be about $5,000
each out of pocket. You and her?
Yes.
Okay, so you have 45. You're going to spend 5 on the wedding. She has 15. She's going to spend 5 on the wedding.
Mm-hmm.
Did I get that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
okay.
Sir.
The rest of it, other than $1,000, both of you are going to write towards your debt today. She's going to put 10 on her car, and you're going to pay off your debt today.
Mm-hmm.
You know, well, wait a minute. That doesn't sound real convincing.
No, I want to do it. I guess the scary thing of bringing that down to the baby step 1, but
well, you're not.
You won't, buddy.
You only got $22,000 in debt.
Right. No, I know. Yeah, it's I don't know.
So you're gonna have $15,000 laying around, and she's gonna be at baby step 1.
Yep.
And then when you get married, you're gonna pay off her car.
Mm-hmm.
After you combine your accounts, after you get married. Nick, you guys are going to be ahead of the game. Now, what you're having right now is called cognitive dissonance. that is your brain is going, I hear Dave and Chris, but that's not what I was designed. This is new. And you're right, it is new information. It is totally different way of thinking, because we want you to start that marriage off without having debt hanging on for 10 or 15 years, buddy. It's going to pave the way for you guys to start to really save up a fully funded emergency fund.
If you're unwilling to pay off your car today, Nick, you should sell it.
Well, hold on. He just heard it, Dave.
That's okay. No, I mean,
it's
really.
new to him. He can do it. Nick, you're going to do it. I believe in you.
Well, if you're going to do the reason that we teach what we teach, Nick, is it's the shortest distance between where you are and wealth.
Yeah.
And so you keep your finances separate prior to marriage, and baby step one's $1,000. Anything above that goes on all of your debts. In your case, you're going to do all that, and you're still going to have $15,000 left over, and you need $5,000 set aside for the wedding. She needs $5,000 set aside for the wedding. Already did that. And then you're going to continue to build your baby step 3 until July into your fully funded emergency fund. And she's going to continue to pay down aggressively on that car between now and July. And if there's any car debt left, and there probably will be with her after you get home from the honeymoon,
you're going to knock it out.
You're going to write a check and be done with it. And then you're 100% debt free. By the way, you're probably going to have $5,000 or $10,000 left over after all that happens.
Yep.
By July, because you're a saver and you make pretty good
and
money.
Look, you take what he was paying on the car, the student loan, and what she was paying on the car, start saving that towards your fully funded emergency fund. Man,
you're going to be there so fast, it's unbelievable.
And a young couple starting off the right way.
Yeah.
That's, boy, Nick, play this call back, play it, listen to it with her, gain agreement, pinky swear, and start writing checks.
Yeah. Set the $5 aside for the wedding. I'm not messing up the wedding.
No.
Not messing up the wedding, but you guys have done a good job saving money, and you've done a lousy job managing your money. And so now we got to decide. Now we got to fix it.
That's
you
right.
Clean up the mess.
It really is.
That's what it comes down to. So we know from studying millionaires that the shortest path to being a millionaire is not keeping money in savings while you have a car payment. It's not on the list of things that millionaires did. No, it wasn't on the list of things they did. It's on the list of middle class people do it all the time, but not millionaires. So it's just, what do you want to do? How do you want to win with money? This is the Dave Ramsey Show. Folks, it's an honor to tell you about the Army National Guard. Not only are they big supporters of our high school curriculum, but they also give you the opportunity to impact your local communities. Whether your goals are to get an education, serve your country, or have a better life, the Army National Guard can help get you there. Plus, they offer unbelievable financial benefits. Secure your future today. Visit nationalguard.com to find out more. Chris Hogan, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Christian's in Dallas, Texas. Hey, Christian, how are you?
Hey, Dave and Chris. Thanks so much for taking the time today.
Sure. How can we help?
Great. I just want to say I'm a new listener of your program, and I'm really blessed to be able to get the opportunity to speak today.
Well, thanks. You too.
So just a bit of background. I'm currently a semester ahead, and so I would have been going into my senior year right now in January. But my parents and I decided that it would probably be best for me to take a leave of absence and, take a step back and kind of pay my loans down a bit before going into my final year. I chose to study sports management since I realized I probably couldn't play professionally, but I still wanted to stay within sports. But I think it's going to be very difficult for me to find a job in that field coming out of college since my major is so restrictive. And my question really is today that since my courses will transfer within the business school, should I change my major to a bachelor's in business management and kind of give myself a broader range of options in order to kind of guarantee a job coming out of college?
Nothing guarantees you a job coming out of college, but you're right in that you've kind of painted yourself into a corner in an industry right now that is dead as a hammer. Sports management, obviously the stadiums and the arenas are all empty. And I assume they're coming back, but I assumed they would never go down. So what do I know? Last year in March, we were saying, wow, well, at least this will be over in time for football. And then it wasn't. So what do I know? I don't know anything, So But I do know that you can do sports management with a business degree. It's tougher to get into business when you have a sports management degree because it is narrow.
Right. Yeah.
And they're not that much different. It's 8 classes or something different, right?
Yeah, it's not much.
Yeah, I mean, so you could have all of the actually as electives, you could pick up all the sports
management stuff,
and still have those tools in your belt.
Yep.
Meanwhile, just have a degree in marketing or a degree in management or whatever. None of these things guarantee you a job anyway.
Right.
And none of them keep you from getting a job. If you walked into our place, we don't do sports management. If you had a sports management degree, one of our guys in leadership here is interviewing you, they're going to have sense enough to know that that's basically a business degree with 5 or 6 sports classes.
Yeah.
And so we're going to know that you've got basic knowledge, in those areas from your academic studies. If we're interviewing you, common sense will tell you that. So, if anybody is dumb enough to look down at a resume and say, oh, we're not going to interview the guy because he's got a sports management degree instead of a business degree.
Yeah, they got issues.
Then they're too stupid to work for, really.
I agree. Christian, how much student loan debt do you have?
As of now, I'm at about 51.
Okay.
So I would be adding 29 for my last year.
Yeah, we don't want to add any. So tell me this, what sport did you play?
I grew up playing soccer.
Okay.
And so I got recruited to play at Richmond University. And so it's over in London, and so they're not really funding my tuition. And so it was kind of a gig where
I got
come
you.
over and play, but you got to worry about your
You have to pay for it. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I like the mindset that you have about shifting to business. I also like the mindset of you kind of taking a step back here and going, okay, let me attack this debt, gain some real world business experience while you're doing it. That way you can cash flow that senior year.
Yeah.
And I don't care if it takes you 5, 6, 7 years to get the degree, as long as you get.
That's too long.
Well, what I'm saying is if he takes off a year or two to be able to pay off what he's
just
got.
talking about a short period of time. During this short period of time, you need to pile up some cash, pay cash for your last year.
The last year,
and make the major change. I would. And while you're doing the major change, pick up the sports management stuff that is the love of your life as electives. And you've still got them as tools in your belt, but pay cash for your last year, and I would make the move. But for 2 reasons. One is it's a very narrow degree. 2 is the sports management world is it's upside down right now, and I don't know what's going to be there.
Yeah.
I can't tell you. I can tell you it's not going to be there. I don't think it's going to be destroyed permanently. The world is too much sports fans, too many sports fans, so something's going to happen.
And Christian, before you go, I'm going to ask Madison to get your information. I'm going to send you Ken Coleman's book, Proximity Principle, because this is something that will give you some real-world experience as you're building your career, of getting around certain people, building relationships, and starting that right now.
Yep. Takia is with us in Atlanta. Hi, Takia. How are you?
Hi, Dave. It is a pleasure to talk to you today.
You too. How can we help?
So, quick question for you. I've been debt-free since 2016, thanks to you and your team. I'm essentially looking for permission to spend a pretty significant amount on a vehicle. So I'm in baby steps 4 and 6. I have about $125,000 saved, and I'm considering buying a car that will cost between $50,000 and $60,000. So I'm trying to see if that makes sense. Or
what do you make?
That money. $182,000.
$182,000?
Yes.
And you have $125 saved?
Yes.
And you're in baby steps 4, 5, 6?
Yes, sir.
Yes, I would buy that car as long as it's not brand new.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
What is the car?
The BMW X5.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, it's a nice car. Very nice. So what, 1-year-old, 2-year-old?
Probably 1-year-old.
Yeah, okay, good. Very good.
Takia, how much do you owe on your home?
$252,000.
Okay.
And I just started attacking my mortgage actually this month, and I'm hoping to pay it off by September of 2024.
That's good. Well, you're heavy in savings right now, so that savings needs to be on 4, 5, and 6 other than the car and the emergency fund, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, you're sitting a little heavy on cash. You don't need $125,000 in your emergency fund.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're going to pull
Agreed.
60 out. You probably don't even need 60 in your emergency fund, do you?
No, I think my 6 months is probably about really 20, 25K, realistically.
Okay. Well, let's leave 30 in there for comfort because you make really good money. Let's pull 60 out for the car and let's put the rest of it on the house.
Will do. Thank you both. I appreciate it.
You're doing great. Wow.
You were awfully affirmative on this car.
Why not?
That's a big dollar amount, Dave.
Well, she's earned the right. I mean, she makes $180,000. And she had the cash.
I thought you'd give a little pushback.
She had the cash.
I mean,
she's not. It's not half her income.
That's
she's
true.
Not buying
That
new.
is true.
She's not buying new. She's not a millionaire, so she's not buying new. She hasn't got the house paid off yet.
Right.
So, but it fits. I mean, it's zeros.
Yeah. No, you're right.
It's a lot. I mean, if you make $60,000 a year, you shouldn't be doing that.
No, I completely agree. Maybe I'm just frugal.
Maybe.
Okay, come on to the next caller. I'm not. I was like a softball pitch to you. I'm not doing that. Come on, hit the button, Dave. Come on. Let's get to the caller. Nope.
Too late. Too late. Maybe I'm just frugal.
Okay, come on, hit the button. Come on, let's talk something.
Well, no, you ain't got time to take a call. It's almost like time to the commercial, but you've already walked into it now.
Yeah, I did.
Oh.
Goodness gracious. Listen, everybody, we had a blast.
Are you a spender or are you a saver?
I am a spender.
Are you?
I am. I really am. And, it's one of those, I had to really reel it in, as I talked about in the Reset event last night with my groceries back in the day. And
that was a great story.
It was really a grow-up moment.
I was laughing my butt off at you.
And I know a lot of you listeners out there, you've got a category in your budget that gives you trouble. And as I talked about it, I want you to go watch the Reset event, because as you begin to see it, you realize I'm going to make a decision for myself and my future. And you start making these sacrifices. And it's okay to be uncomfortable as long as you're being productive. So check it out. You'll get a laugh. And you'll get some facts.
Scooping up some eggs. Scoop up eggs. I never scooped up eggs till I heard of you. This is great.
Oh.
This is the Dave Ramsey Show. Our scripture of the day, Ecclesiastes 7:14. In the day of prosperity, be joyful, and in the day of adversity, consider. God has made the one as well as the other, so that man may not find out anything that will be after him. Robert Louis Stevenson said, to be truly happy is a question of how we begin and not of how we end, of what we want and not of what we have. Chris Hogan, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today at 888-825-5225. Andrew is with us in Orlando. Hi, Andrew. Welcome to the Dave Ramsey Show.
Hey, Dave and Chris. So excited to talk to y'all. Thank you.
Sure. How can we help?
So I'm 25 years old. I don't have any debt. I graduated college this past May, and I was able to live at home and do an in-state school. And so I was able to save a lot during those years. And right now, I have about $3,500 in the bank, and then I have a Charles Schwab account that I just transferred about $38,000 into, but it's not invested right now. And so I'm wondering what y'all's thoughts are on what should I do a lump, big sums of something into different funds, or what's y'all's idea and thoughts on that?
Now, did you graduate yet?
Yes, sir. And
Okay.
I just started a new job.
Great. And have you
Thank
moved
you.
into your new place?
Well, right now I'm actually still at home, and I'm talking to a friend of mine. We had actually moved out together, but once COVID hit, we moved back in to our house, and so I'm looking with him right now to move out.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
What do you do for a living? How much do you make?
Right now, I make about $30,000, but I'm working part-time. This new job I got, I should be starting full-time in the next few weeks or the next month or so, and then that should bring it up, and hopefully I'll get a pay raise in there as well.
And
So,
where did the money in the Charles Schwab account come from?
I had it just in my savings account. I had been just saving for years, and then I just kind of transferred it over, wanting to kind of get started on some stuff.
All right. And how's your car? What kind of car do you have?
It's paid off. It's a Toyota.
Okay.
And I don't have any debt right now.
Okay. And you plan to have this vehicle for what, another 5-10 years?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So it's in really good shape.
That's good. That is good. Well, I like the fact that you all are planning to get back out on your own, you and a roommate.
Yes.
And so, with that in mind, beginning to look and giving yourself some cushion. If your car is stable, right, and you're making 30, you're getting ready to try to get to full time, you have some of that money you hold on to as part of your emergency fund. The rest of it, I'm going to invest that for the future, buddy.
Yeah,
Okay.
or it's your first home fund, either one, whatever
Right.
you want to do with it. You can.
That's what I was thinking about too. I wasn't sure because I had originally kept it in savings, but I didn't really have a purpose of, okay, I'm saving up for this.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just started thinking it was probably not super smart to just let it sit there.
That's good.
Yeah.
Good. I don't mind that at all. I would invest it either into retirement accounts and Roth IRAs and so forth, and or I would put aside from the emergency fund, and or I would just set it aside, invested in a mutual fund for your first home purchase, and continue to add to it, and that's your down payment fund. And so now it's got a name, it's got a purpose, and that's very smart for it to have a purpose. That also tells you how to invest, what to invest it in. Once you give it a name, once you give it a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Shelby's in St. Louis. Hi, Shelby. Welcome to the Dave Ramsey Show.
Hi, Dave. Thank you so much for taking my call.
Sure. How can I help?
I have a question about life insurance. My parents bought a life insurance policy when I was born, and I'm 26 years old.
Oh, no.
I was diagnosed with childhood leukemia when I was 13. I'm 13 years cancer-free now.
Yay.
But I'm facing the decision of keeping that policy, upgrading that policy, or taking the money and running and getting. I know you guys preach term life insurance,
Yes.
but I'm just not sure what to do since I have that history of cancer.
Yeah. Well, what you need to do is figure out if you can get term, get in touch with Xander Insurance and see if 13 years from childhood is enough to clear you to get term insurance. If it is, then it's time to get a big girl policy and let this whole thing go away. Upgrading, okay. I don't know what upgrading means. Getting whole life?
I shouldn't say upgrade. I'm saying updating. It's a variable appreciable life policy that I have now, and they're trying to update me to a permanent life insurance policy.
That's a downgrade, actually. No, I wouldn't do that. I know I wouldn't do that. The only question is, do you keep what you have because you're uninsurable, or do you get term insurance and drop this crap because you're able to get insurance? Those are your two choices.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah. And Shelby, so what you do is reach out to Xander, go ahead and apply and begin through the process. They'll walk you through it and guide you. And if for some reason it comes back that you're uninsurable, you'll be able to work with one of our insurance endorsed local providers to be able to guide you to find out what other special policies are available that are going to be a better overall deal for you than this permanent life.
Yeah, the life insurance world, Jeff Xander and I were talking about this over the holidays. We were together for Christmas party and stuff. And he was saying that it's amazing in the last even 5 years how the life insurance world is now covering things that they wouldn't cover before. I mean, like back in the day when I started, if you just said cancer out loud, you were done.
Yeah.
Or in her case, that would be you're done. Even though it's 13 years ago, even though it's childhood leukemia, even though the survival rate on childhood leukemia is very high, doesn't matter, you're done. Nowadays, they look at it very carefully, and they've been able to write policies for people that have had diabetes or people that have had a cancer or had a heart attack scare or something. Now, if you're square in the middle of it, they're not going to. No. It's going to be tough to get coverage on that, obviously. But, the number of years they want to wait that you're cancer-free has changed. They're just much more lenient on the underwriting now because I think they've got better data that they're working with in order to book those in. And so, guys, let me just tell you something. Term life insurance, if you haven't priced it, unless you have an illness or something where you're getting rated up, the prices are ridiculously low. It's just, what $13 a month will buy you if you're 30 years old will blow your freaking mind. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, and really here, if you've got dependents or people counting on you, this is not an option. You want to make sure that you've got term coverage outside of your job. That policy with your job is not going to provide you enough. It's not doing enough. So we tell people 10 to 12 times your income. So if you're making $50,000 a year, you're looking at $500,000 to $600,000 in term. But it's really how you say you love your family. It's how you say I love you, because you're going to provide them money to be able to take care of things after you're gone. Finish funding college, finish paying off the house, finish whatever it is that they need to do. So please don't delay. And if you've had this through your job, it's not portable. It's not going to follow you.
And I wouldn't delay because of this COVID mess either.
No.
Because COVID is going to affect life insurance policy prices. I don't know exactly how yet, because we don't know what the data is. The actual death rate on COVID is not high enough to affect it, but the illness and the it's got that business spook. That business is a numbers-driven, statistics-driven business, and they don't like uncertainty. They don't like pandemics. Right. And so they may jack policy rates up soon just in case.
That's right. That's exactly right.
And then bring them back down later.
You're right.
So if you've been dilly-dallying around about this, you get your dadgum term insurance in place now.
Yeah.
All right, that about puts this particular hour in the books. If you have not seen the Reset event that was live last night, 240,000 folks signed up to see it last night. It was Chris Hogan, Dave Ramsey, Rachel Cruz, and Craig Rochelle. All four were on their game, including me. So check it out, DaveRamsey.com/reset. It'll be up for a day or so more. There'll be over 1 million people watch it by the time it's over, and it's completely free. James Childs, good job in the booth. Madison, thank you for filling in for Kelly. Good stuff. Chris Hogan, thanks for hanging out.
Yes.
This is the Dave Ramsey Show. We'll be back with you before you know it. In the meantime, remember, there's ultimately only one way to financial peace, and that's to walk daily with the Prince of Peace, Christ Jesus.